In this video, we are going to be talking about some major news happening in the NFT markets, as well as some up and coming projects you definitely got to watch out for. Now, the first project that we are going to be talking about is going to be Doodles. So with Doodles, they recently launched a Doodles map, which is essentially kind of like a vague roadmap of what's going on with the project. You kind of look at it over here, they're going to have the OG collection here. They have the Doodle Bank, Duplicator, Studio, Space Doodles, Planets, and these are all things that people already kind of knew existed, right? So actually, I'm not sure if this really does anything for the project because these assets are already created and people are just waiting to see what's going to happen next. So I guess putting it on a nice blueprint, I'm not sure if that really does anything. And when we look at the prices of the floor, nothing has pretty much changed when this roadmap came out. Well, not really roadmap, it's a doodle map, right? But I can see, you know, there's going to be a lot of people who still believe in Doodles, continue to support the brand. Doesn't mean that it's over or anything like that. It just means that they're trying to be more clear on everything that they're doing. And just as a reminder, Pharrell Williams is still, I believe, the chief brand officer of Doodles. And actually very recently, Louis Vuitton appointed Pharrell Williams as the new men's creative director, replacing Virgil Abloh. So that's going to be interesting to see if there's going to be any cross promotion over there. There might be not. I mean, it's been a while since he's been chief brand officer, and a lot of the reason why they're receiving a lot of FUD these days is just a lack of communication. People aren't really sure what to expect, what's going on, and in this space, you know, people are looking for the future, right? They kind of want to see their assets go up in value, and if they don't see that or they don't see implications of that potentially happening, then that's why, you know, projects receive FUD. But it doesn't mean it's a bad project. It just means that they need to communicate a little more differently, especially during this bear market where people are more careful with where they put their dollars. Now, what's actually interesting, I'll draw an interesting comparison, is that I saw this, I guess you could call it the OG mind map back in the day with Walt Disney, the Walt Disney company. And, you know, he also had a similar idea back in the day where, you know, he had this talent studio in the middle where you have the most creative people creating theatrical films, and then that could lead into music, TV shows, merchandising, right? And so it all really works because the films is the main driver. It's that engine that drives everything else. Similar to how, let's say, Pokemon, for example, with the anime creates more demand for people wanting to buy the games. Well, with the anime, nobody knows what the games are. So in a way, you know, this content is a form of marketing, and you find different ways to monetize that content. So we can kind of see, you know, you replace the content studio here with like NFTs, and then NFTs is the center of everything, and that's what everyone is trying to do, but we're all kind of still figuring it out as we go. Now, the next piece of news that we have is going to be Square Enix. Recently, the CEO of Square Enix has stepped down, and I'm sure there's a number of reasons for that, but what Square Enix has communicated is that they want to move forward with the new innovative technology that's really happening, and blockchain being one of them. Now, they slightly put it in their, you know, press releases and stuff like that. They're not saying like we're going all in on blockchain, but that's something they're definitely exploring more. And as we covered in the previous video, Square Enix is doing a NFT collectible art project, Symbiogenesis, which is their Discord, and everything's going to open real soon. So you can see them, you know, dipping their toes into NFT, seeing how this is going to be. And again, like, you know, my observation of Square Enix getting into this, Starbucks getting into this, it's not as if they're going all in and dedicating all their resources into NFTs. They're testing it out with a budget, seeing if it works, and then they're trying to position themselves so that there's this whole new wave of people wanting to buy digital collectibles and own things digitally on the blockchain. They're going to be ready for that. And so all these large companies are preparing for that setup. Now, in other news, let's going back into Web3, Yuga Labs files a trademark for the Otherside drink. And as you know, we've seen this over here with a lot of teasers of Yuga Labs, and Bored Ape with the Dookie Dash and all these things, right? There's going to be a drink. They filed the trademark for the drink, and they are potentially going to be using this trademark for energy drinks, non-alcoholic beverages, soft drinks, fruit juices, water, soda, cider, non-alcoholic, right? Even including beer as well, so also alcoholic drinks as well. This is kind of interesting because drinks is a really big market, right? Like if we look at, let's say, Nelk Boys, right? And so they started off doing pranks, and they started building a following, like a cult following that supports everything they do. And then they partnered with some people to launch a drinks brand, Happy Dad, which is like a hard seltzer, and this thing is blowing up. Apparently it's worth like 250 million, so they say on an interview. And so you can kind of see, like, with attention and content, you can create different products, drinks being one of them. You know, there are going to be a lot of people who use the Bored Ape brand and use the Bored Ape and use it for their own drinks and stuff like that. They're probably thinking, hey, why don't we just do it ourselves? And they're probably going to take their own branding, create their own drinks, and try to build large businesses that way because they have so much attention. And also because so many celebrities and high net worth individuals have a Bored Ape, it's almost like free marketing in a sense because of association, right? So that's definitely interesting to see where the future of NFTs is going, because people are going to have to figure out how to generate revenue outside of just selling more NFTs, which Yuga does a great great job at, but now they're gonna have to find different ways, like maybe energy drinks, alcoholic drinks, you name it. They're gonna probably keep innovating on that front. Now, we're talking about new projects today. We're gonna be talking about this new one that's kind of in the Japanese NFT scene, and it's gonna be called Saishu. It's gonna be called this. I don't really know how to pronounce it in Japanese, and I'm not gonna attempt it, but this is what it's called, right? So you can check out the Twitter and everything like that. Just FYI, this project actually did give us whitelists, so the Parallax community did get some whitelists for this project. So if you're a Parallax holder, you definitely can enter the raffle and potentially win this and earn an opportunity to mint this project. And just to be clear, these are going to be my personal opinions. They didn't pay me or anything to talk about them. They just gave us some whitelists to share it with our community. Now, for me, I do kind of like the art because I'm a fan of anime and stuff like that, so it does look pretty good. It's kind of unclear on exactly what it is when you go on the website, but supposedly it's going to be related to this girl who is a Japanese influencer. She's kind of like a Japanese idol, so I guess using her credibility and brand to help promote this project. So maybe this is going to be like Japanese lifestyle IP. I mean, Japanese idols is a really big culture in Japan. Like a lot of guys spend a lot of money supporting these girls, live streaming and stuff like that. And so if you turned it into an NFT and maybe that's exclusive membership into that world, virtual world and real world, I can see that. Maybe it's a thing, right? So it's very Japanese for sure. Going into the utilities, there's tiers, gacha. You're gonna be able to customize your NFT IP related creations. I guess a lot of the utilities is based on gacha, which is almost like a gambling mechanic, right? Where it's like a game of RNG or a game of chance and you can win certain things. So there's going to be an app where they're going to have more drops in the future. There's going to be a fan club. We'll have interesting events. What will those events be? Not clear. And there's going to be a shop, right? So I mean, it's kind of early to see what exactly it is. And to be fair, it's not super clear on what exactly it is, but I like the art. So if you want to check it out, feel free to check them out on Twitter and learn more. Now, speaking of Japan, I recently came across this interesting project called Clone Girls. And so essentially what it is, it's another idol group, but this time they're going to be using different Clone X's that they own. So they're going to be real girls, and they're also going to be using the NFTs from Clone X to create an idol group, right? I mean, it's just an interesting use case for me that somebody would, put together a team or agency to do this kind of work. So Cloneverse is a creative collaboration between NFT holders and talents. First project is Clone Girls, and they're also going to do something called Clone Gamers, which is interesting. Clone Gamers is a VTuber project for the blockchain game. So these are going to be the different people over here, and that's going to be their Clone X. And they're also recruiting more people. I guess they have musicians and other different type of creative people part of this project. Now, they're not really saying who is the mastermind behind this, who is the owner, who is the CEO. It's not really clear, but it's interesting to see what they're going to do with Clone X and using this IP. Is it possible that Clone X will be used as one of the most popular VTubing 3D rigs? That's potentially possible. So I mean, VTubing is like super huge. If you go on YouTube, for example, and you type in VTuber, you're going to find like millions of views, going to these people who are using avatars as their character, and they're just like kind of live streaming, playing games and stuff like that. So it's something that's not to be underestimated. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not as popular. It actually is kind of popular in America, but in Japan, it's like, it definitely is a culture there, and that whole idol culture. So something to pay attention to, especially if you're not so in tune with what's going on in Asia. Next project we are going to be talking about is Coinbase is trying to make a comeback into NFTs. Now, if you didn't know, previously, like I would think like months ago, Coinbase tried to launch an NFT marketplace, kind of like Instagram combined with Coinbase, and it pretty much completely flopped. So now they're coming back for round two, and this time they're going to be coming back with Base, right? So Base.org essentially is a layer 2 for Ethereum. It's kind of like a competitor to, let's say, like Polygon, for example, or Immutable X, where Ethereum is kind of used as a store value. It's slower, it's more expensive, and then they're going to add another layer on top, which is faster, better for playing video games, or doing a lot of transactions without paying like a lot of money for that. So 10 times cheaper than Ethereum, whatever, right? They are doing this collaboration where you can do a free mint. So in the next few days, we'll be evolving the artwork to tell a story. Builders will help us bring 1 billion people on chain. And so you can mint this for free if you want to check it out. Almost 500,000 people have minted this. And also there's like somewhat of a collaboration with Jack Butcher, who has Checks, which is a pretty hot project right now with the whole Checks and the art and the burning mechanic and things like that. So there's going to be like somewhat of a collaboration with Coinbase. So Base, this is going to be the project over here if you go on their OpenSea. So meet Base, Ethereum layer 2 that offers a secure. Okay, so pretty much when you mint it, you have the opportunity to upgrade. You can update it every so often, and so far they've done it twice. So the different updates are going to be, updating it into a nouns, right? And then the other one is updating into a checks. They also put the creator earnings to 0%. So obviously they're not really trying to make money on this project. Well, they're trying to make money on Base.org, right? And get people to build on their ecosystem. Honestly, it's like a pretty smart way to do native marketing into Web3. And so with that said, that's everything we got to cover for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, because it helps so much helping with the algorithm, getting this video to get more views, especially during the bear market. And I will see you in the next one.